Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the top guy here. This is the amplifier part of this bundle. Very nice stack from Topping, by the way. This thing is basically reference class, and you usually pay a lot more money than $3.99 for each unit for something like this. But this really does a great job. It isn't the greatest in the world, but for the price, it hits way above its weight class. That is for sure. The A30 Pro, uh, 20 to 40 kilohertz. You have 6,000 milliwatts times 2 at 16 ohms, 5,500 milliwatts times 2 at 32 ohms, and 840 milliwatts times 2 at 300 ohms. The sound, the ground noise, 0.00008. Very low ground noise with this. Inputs on this is a 3-pin XLR balanced and an RCA single-ended. The preamp outputs are RCA single-ended 6.35 millimeter TRS balanced. Headphone inputs, as you can see on the front headphone, you got your 4-pin XLR balanced, of course. You got your 4.4 millimeter, and you got your 6.35 millimeter single-ended. The weight of this is 870 grams, and the dimensions are 17.4 by 13.8 by 4.5 centimeters. I have my 2-amp and my SMSL up there. Basically, I think this is just a little bit longer on the side, but it's basically just the standard. So if you have one and you're replacing it, this should fit in the same space. I think it is just a little bit longer. I think from where the volume knob out is pretty much a little bit extra than the other two that I have up there. Let's take a look at it. The controls on this are very nice. You have your different switches. You have your off. You have your XLR. You have your RCA. Switches feel strong, nice. You have your different gains. You have 3-level gain, low, medium, and high. There's your plugs. You have the volume knob, which is very smooth, very nice. Much better than some other companies that I have. The volume knobs feel kind of cheap and just icky. Here's your preamp things. I didn't need to use those. You have your XLRs. There's your balanced right there. You have your selector right there. And of course, it takes a standard plug. And it has a switch here too. I think the only thing I found fault with this unit was the switches were both on the back. Because I tend to like to stick things up in a bookshelf or something. And to do that, you have to reach in the back. See, I just hit the camera. Reach in the back and turn it on and off. Shit Audio was the same thing. When I had them, I didn't like that the switches are in the back. I like my on-off switches to be on the volume knobs in the front, or a toggle switch on the front. It's just easier. That's just my preference. I don't know how you're going to be putting these, where you're going to be putting these, but they're small enough to go just about anywhere. Definitely fit on your computer desk or a bookshelf or however you're going to be using them. That said, let's see. We did the D30 Pro, which is the DAC. These have such good synergy together. Of course, they were designed to go together. I never used the regular D30s. This is the first time I'm using the Pro. As a matter of fact, I haven't used a lot of topping products. I haven't had a topping since the NX3 Portable. I had the NX1 and the NX3 Portable. I never got the NX4 because so many other things came out at the same time, like X2 and stuff. Let's see. So basically in the box, you're going to get the amp, and you're going to get the power cord, and you get a 6.35 to 3.5 millimeter adapter. That's I got a dozen of those somewhere around here. Anyway, you know what those adapters look like. And of course, the cord is basically the same cord. It's this style right here, which basically looks like an old desktop PC cord. Let's see. So these are available in silver and black. Both of those look really good. It just depends on what aesthetic you're going for. If you have like a Mac, whether it be an iMac or a MacBook or something, it would really look good in the silver on your desk, the aesthetics of that. The black looks fine. I mean, basically every amplifier I have is either silver or black. I don't care if they mix and match or whatever, but I do like them to match. So overall, the sound impressions, it's going to kind of be a combined sound because when I ran these together. I did not run these separate at all. I didn't take the amplifier and put it with my DAC or whatever. I did these together. So for the rest of this review, we'll be talking about both of these together sound-wise. Now, the source of my testing was, basically HP laptops. I have like 3 HP laptops. We do have a iPad, which we used. And of course, we usually use some Android phones, which we didn't use with this because it's a desktop unit and I wasn't going to hook a phone into it. So for that, mostly it was just on a laptop running Windows 11 and Windows 10 and also Linux and Ubuntu. So let's talk about the combination together. The combination of these sounds really, really good. They're made for each other. They have, like I said, they have some good cohesion there between the two of them. And listening to it, they really do have kind of a very clean sound to them. There's very low ground noise. They do sound very open. Looking at the graph and everything, I can agree basically with the graph for this. So let's talk about bass, the low end. The low end on this has very good clarity. There's very good impact with the bass overall. It doesn't sound boosted. It sounds natural and it presents itself the way it's supposed to. And this thing has a lot of power to it, so it definitely can drive, everything with no problem. My planners from Hi-Fi Men and my Fostex planners, no problem with this. They sounded really, really good. Mid-range with this, even with really busy tracks, this handled it like a pro. Sounding very good, very clear. The mids, both vocals and instruments, sounded excellent. Excellent spacing, and you could hear in the layering all the instruments and where they were coming from. Sounded really good. I'm not going to give the tracks because there's a variety of tracks. I have probably about 300 tracks that I move in between. And a lot of times if I'm doing a comparison, I will definitely use the same track over and over again to compare, different earphones and headphones and stuff. And with this, I used some tracks that I was in the mood for listening to, and that usually includes everything from jazz on up to, really heavy metal, death metal, some rap in there, especially some of the older stuff like Notorious B.I.G. and we listen to a variety of different things. And there are some mainstream music like Jeff Groban that we listen to, Michael Bublé, and just a variety of music. It's very eclectic. And that's good because you get to test it because everybody has their particular type of music that they like. So I found that I liked everything, and I found that it was as close to a neutral signature as I have come in a long time. And a lot of times when you get neutral, it sounds rather boring. But this really brought it through. Whatever the track was, it definitely just enabled you to hear every bit, every single thing. I really had a very nice experience with this. I'm not a big desktop person. I have my setup over here, and I can guarantee that 90% of the time I use the portable because don't like to be tethered to my desk unless I'm working. Now, if I'm working, of course, I don't mind plugging it in and giving it a listen for a long period of time. Um, and that's where something like this comes in, especially if you need power, because most portables are not going to cut it power wise. There are a lot of new portables now that are very powerful, but desktop units, I think so far won't be replaced unless you're spending a lot of money. They just offer just so much more. If you're in the market for a new DAC and amp combo, you should really think about this because this just really is that good. There's no compromise here. It's got a decent footprint. Like I said, it's only probably maybe a quarter of an inch bigger than my SMSL SP200, which is quite small. So it fits in good spaces. It does get a little warm when you're playing both of them together and running like planners or something. It doesn't get red hot. At least mine didn't get red hot. So that's good because I had the liquid spark got so hot, man, it could melt plastic. So this combo really does good. I had the Magni and Modi, the Ubers. I've had the Zens. I've had the Spark and the Spark DAC. I've had both SMSLs, which I only got the SP now. I've had my Develop Poetry, or however the heck you say that. I had a stack of them before I got the tube amp. And I'm trying to think of the different stacks. I had the Own, which is a combo unit. But yeah, honestly, this thing just really impressed me. What are we going on? We're not at 15 minutes yet. Trying to think if there was anything important. I did use, for cables, I did use these nice silver cables from DD Hi-Fi. It always helps if you have good cables running into it. The USB cable, as long as you got a good quality USB cable, it doesn't really matter. They come in blue, they come in white, they come in black, whatever color you have. I've even seen yellow ones. My notes is saying this page isn't responding. That's very good. I shouldn't put things up on the web. Maybe I should just have them locally. But the SSDs don't store very much, so. And that's basically in my notes for this. I wrote that I was just very impressed, and I can't honestly stress any more than these sounded really good together. Like I said, very, very neutral, very, very open and airy sounding, great vocals, great separation, very good soundstage and imaging, quite accurate, and just overall good dynamics, good tonality to it. And like I said, some people have said it sounds flat, and I can agree with that to a point. I would think it more of a neutral signature, but yeah, it is very flat, very neutral sounding, very kind of almost reference. Just like, a good DAC should be like water. It should just become the track that's recorded, that's playing through it. It shouldn't be adding color to the signature or anything else like that. And not that I don't like a fun signature, because I absolutely do love a fun signature. But I can appreciate it when it's very good and very neutral in its signature. Like I said, built like a tank, works exceptionally well, especially together. I should be noted, like I said, I did not test these separate. These came together, and this is the way I wanted to test them together. And very good. I mean, I like the remote, which is right here. And the remote is a decent size remote. It's probably about the same size as my Google TV remote. Yeah, probably about the exact same size. Doesn't take up a lot of space. The remote comes in handy. They can fit just about anywhere. It's probably, I mean, it's squarer, but it's probably around the same dimensions as the Zen that I had in the same spot here. And what else was here? The SMSL stack that was here. Same basic, same dimensions, maybe a little bit bigger. I love these, the way these is designed with the vents on the top. Don't block the vents, you get good airflow, and they shouldn't overheat or anything else. So overall, it's built like a tank. It sounds exceptionally well. Together, they both have some really good synergy, and there is a power for days on here. So whatever you're driving from Empyreans to Beats Studio, you're gonna get your power that you need. Not that Beats Studio need an amplifier or whatever to drive. I'm sure 90% of the people don't have them, but I'm just jesting there. Like Empyreans, ZMFs, whatever you're driving, this is gonna make them sound really good. Yeah, just make sure that you have, the good tracks. I didn't test these with anything lower than high quality MP3s. We did some DSD, and I didn't use any MQAs. Looking at this does DSD up to 256 for the DAC, and it does 32-bit, 384 for PCM files. So that's excellent. And we've covered the specs on the DAC now, and we've covered the specs on the amplifier. And together, the topping stack is just a very good stack for the price. I'm going to leave the link down below. I'll find you a good price for these. And thanks so much for watching. Please be safe. Bye-bye.